What's up, everybody? This is Jason with the Body of Purpose podcast, and today I've got on Funk Roberts from funkmma.com. Funk is out of Toronto, and he's a body transformation specialist. He's basically a ex-professional volleyball player, which I didn't know, turned coach and transformation coach. That's really what I would call him. But I wouldn't just call him a transformation coach and a trainer. I would call him also a kind of a mindset coach and also really just a mentor, personal mentor. And that's really what I found giving this interview with Funk. Hope you enjoy it. We talk about a lot of mindset stuff, a lot of stuff that you can apply right now, and a lot of stuff that you'll relate to, stuff that you're going through right now in your life. So I hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, Funk Robert. Everybody, what's up? This is Jason here, and today I've got a great interview lined up, rapid fire interview with Funk Roberts from funkmma.com, and he's based in Toronto. Where exactly in Toronto, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm. It's called High Park, a place called High Park, which is West Toronto West.
Okay, been to a couple conferences, I should say, over the
Right.
past decade in Toronto. I haven't spent a lot of time there, but very interesting, very diverse place, I think.
100%. Yeah,
So,
very diverse. We have every single culture you can think of and
yeah,
pockets throughout Toronto. So it makes it an amazing city, an
yeah. And
incredible
one of
city.
the, I always like to mention this when I have a Canadian um, on the call with me, that I have so many friends from Canada in the fitness uh, industry, and
Right.
I look up to every single one of them. It's like it's something that I envy very much because I can't say that for um,
Everybody else.
people in the U.S. I'm not saying that there's any particular issue I have. It's just that the people, you guys, the trainers from Canada, no joke, cut and dry, just impressed the heck out of me, both
That's awesome.
personally and professionally. That's something that, frankly, I haven't seen universally in the U.S. Hopefully, knock on wood, the Canadians can keep that up. I'm
Hopefully,
sure they
yes.
can.
That's awesome.
So, so let's jump into this, Funk. That's
Sure.
how my people at BodyofPurpose.com, the site that I uh, publish all of this stuff on, they love the rapid fire stuff. So let's jump into this. So
Sure.
for those of us that might not be familiar with you, Funk Roberts, Funk MMA, tell us a little bit, maybe an annotated version of how you found yourself in the fitness industry. Because for a lot of people, it's because they came out of something, a challenge or a dark point in their lives. Or for everybody, it's a little different. But why don't you give us the 30,000 foot view of that?
Sure. And once again, or let me just thank you for having me on
Yeah.
your podcast, on the show, and the interview. This is great. I love it, and yeah, I look forward to sharing some knowledge with your folks. But yeah, for me, I used to be a professional athlete, so even growing up as a kid, my parents had me in sports camps, so I was like I delved into sports from the time I was 8 years old, and I was kind of like the jack of all trades. I was really good at a lot of sports, but didn't really wasn't the best at everyone, but was top two or three at most of the sports that I played. And I played them all, and then I kind of gravitated to volleyball throughout my high school career, and actually made it a professional career. I became a professional beach volleyball player. Played indoor at the highest level. Played beach volleyball all over the world, Brazil, everywhere. We had a Canadian tour here that I played on, and the AVP in the U.S. Is a big tour. And we're talking back in the late '80s, early '90s, because I'm 47, going to be 47 in about a month. So it was
That's a
a
complete
long,
lie, everybody. He's 37.
yeah, it was a long time ago, but it definitely shaped, a lot of what I did, a lot of my training, a lot of, being able to compete at a high level, both physically, mentally, preparation, everything I've kind of learned was from that first half of my life as a professional athlete. A lot of mistakes, but a lot of things I learned that I
Mhm.
could move over. So fitness has always been something that I love. Has always been something in my life. In fact, when I was training too, I was always known like volleyball is. I'm only 5'10", and volleyball is a tall, skinny guy sport. Like that's basically what it is. But for me, I was always kind of short and jacked. I was always known as the jacked guy, and people were like, "Oh, well, my name is Mark Funk Roberts," but people back then knew me as Mark, but now I'm Funk. But oh, I want to be, I want to be Jack like Roberts, and that sort of thing. And for me, one of the things I also always used to say was when I finish beach volleyball, when I retire, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. That was, always reading the Flex magazines, Muscle and Fitness. Like I was so enthralled with Flex Wheeler and obviously Arnold and everyone else. So fitness was definitely something that I was going to take take hold of after my volleyball career. So when I finally retired when I was 30, right away, back to the 9 to 5 job or into the 9 to 5 job full time. Still going to the gym doing the old bodybuilding style workouts. But I quickly got out of shape. I quickly, because the focus was making money, focus was working 10, 12 hours a day. And yeah, even though you still go to the gym doing, buys and tries, back and shoulders and all that stuff, unless you're competing, man, it's. I mean that this is from where I come from. Unless you're competing, bodybuilding style workouts are just not the way to go.
Right.
For me anyway, and for the people that I, the tribe as I call them. Unless you're competing for sure. But to be functional, to be athletic, to just to do everything that just to last longer in life in regards to injury free and more mobile. I think you got to train a little bit different. But so and it it actually it was funny because I used to go to the gym again 6 days a week, spending an hour and a half in the gym, just on buys and tricep kickbacks. And I used to go with a buddy, and he said to me, he's like, "Man, aren't you frustrated? Doesn't it frustrate you that you come to this gym every day? You're dedicated, you're consistent, and you put an hour and a half, and you still look the same. You actually don't even have any abs. Like you just look the same." I was very puffy, 215 pounds, and that's when I looked at myself, and I'm like, "Man, you know what? I really have to change." Like he's totally right, man. I come in here, put in all the hard work, and I still look the same. So started to research, started to look into different styles of training, and even going back to how I trained as an athlete, because even though I was still using the old school bodybuilding style, I was doing a lot of plyometrics at the time because for jumping as a volleyball player. Anyway, so I just that's when I started to see more metabolic training using other pieces of equipment like kettlebells and TRXs and sandbags and other things out there. And this was like 8 or 9 years ago when again high intensity training was it's always been around, but it was slowly becoming you know
What it is now.
mainstream, yeah, mainstream. So I jumped right on that because I actually transformed my body completely using kettlebells and using more metabolic style training, high intensity training, short, high intensity workouts. From 215 to 185 pounds, my body totally changed. And I started to blog about it. I started to YouTube about it. I started to YouTube my workouts, even though before I was YouTubing my bodybuilding workouts. All of a sudden, I made a quick change to kettlebells and body weight and all this stuff. People were like, "Wow, what's going on?" But as they saw my body change, they actually started to see the evolution of the way I was training. And I wanted to share that with everybody. I wanted to share that with the world. And being able to be on YouTube really helped that, especially at the very beginning, because I would just plop up, workouts in my basement in the pitch in the
Hmm.
dark. It was
Yeah.
all about content and not about the look and feel and the making it look showy. It was just I just want to get it out there. So that was kind of how it started, and people just really started to gravitate to that style of training. And I put out a couple of free workouts, 4-week programs, and lo and behold, I started getting a big following of people who liked my metabolic style workouts.
Right. That's awesome. And I have followed you myself, and I've been, when I first kind of, it was in connection with Shauna Kaminsky, a good
Right.
friend of ours. Again, the Canadians, just amazing. So we're all connected, whether directly or indirectly. And so once I started, I was very impressed with your MMA style stuff, and the Spartacus stuff. And so that's why I was really turned on to this Funk MMA character. And this was about a few years ago. So to actually have come to this point and we're on Skype together is pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
So in conjunction with maybe it was before volleyball, maybe it was any time in your life. Did you ever, you know, when you look back or if you're reminiscing on your past, was there ever like a particular dark point in your life, or maybe it wasn't dark, maybe it was just a real big challenge for you, maybe with a relationship or with an injury or with something that held you back that you had to push through it, and how did you do that, if any?
Yeah, there's been a few, but one that kind of stands out for me is actually how I really it was an aha moment. Going through this struggle was an aha moment for me to do where I'm at right now, which was training and doing strength and conditioning for fighters. But I'd gone to Thailand like when I was 40 years old, just because after my volleyball career was done, and then after I started to transform my body using metabolic training, UFC started to get big, and I used to do Muay Thai training when I was 19, but because beach volleyball took over, I had no time to train. I was just all about beach volleyball. So I started to get back into Muay Thai, and I wanted to. Whenever I do something, I go big. I kind of go big. So the one year I said, you know what, I want to go to Thailand. I want to train in Thailand with the top trainers, and I did that. It was an amazing experience, and it was actually an experience that helped me realize that there was a lot of fighters in the world, MMA fighters and combat athletes who were still doing the old style bodybuilding style training, and I wanted to be that person that they could go to online to to find workouts, to know that, look, if I do one of Funk Roberts' workouts as an athlete, as a fighter, I know I'm going to get into shape, whether I'm in the basement or whether I'm at a high level place. So
Mhm.
the following year, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to actually fight in Thailand. I'm going to go and do a Muay Thai fight, just gloves, in Thailand. And at this point, I was no amazing. In fact, my Muay Thai was still very raw at this point. Because yes, I went to Thailand and trained, and I was great. But then I stopped training when I got home. So when I made this decision, my Muay Thai was very raw, and I made this decision just out of my own, just for myself, to say, look, if I'm going to train these guys, I want to know how it feels to go through an entire training camp, nutrition, the mental preparation, everything, and I step outside my comfort zone. So I self-proclaimed that to myself to say, hey, look, I'm going to do this. And I started to train and started to, again, step outside the comfort zone, doing things that I don't like doing. Like, I'm not a long distance runner, but for Muay Thai training, you're doing 5K runs even before you step into the gym to train. So a lot of that stuff was, it was really tough for me. And as I went through the process, there's so many times I'm like, why am I even doing this? Like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to go and actually risk my life in a ring in a different country to prove anything. The proof is me doing the workouts, me getting my certification, me helping fighters. But I made a self promise to myself. I set a goal, and there were many times where you're training 6 days a week. Again, I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'm still working 9 to 5. I'm still trying to get my blog going, and I'm training. So days were like 16, 17-hour days, being awake, and I can't even imagine the amount of times where I was like, why am I doing this? I've got to stop. There's no way. I'm 41 years old. What does a 41-year-old man need to do this? But um, I set that goal, and there's so many times I had to have faith. I had to just keep my mind right, work on my recovery, work on my nutrition, learn from others, and really, really, even up to the time that I was ready to fight, there was still that self doubt. It's always around, but
Mhm.
it's how you handle that self doubt. For me, it was a lot of prayer. For me, it was a lot of just support. For me, it was a lot of realizing my why. My why was, in fact, even though I didn't, well, I did. At one point I did make it public, but I made that why really strong. I was like, you know what, this I need to do this. I need to show the world. I need to show myself. I need to show my family that when I commit to something, I'm going to do it. Because if I stop doing this, and then me as a coach, as a mentor, as a trainer, I can't come to someone and say, look, you know, I've done this before, or I quit, or you know what I mean. Like, even if I lost, it doesn't matter. Like, just going through that
Mhm.
that process,
Mhm.
and but it was very, very tough. It was one of the toughest things I've done because again, stepping outside of your comfort zone. I was not a very good fighter, so for me having to swallow my pride, swallow my ego, go to beginners classes, sit there and practice my one twos, that in itself plays with mind tricks. And
Mhm.
then the nutrition portion of it, having to change up my nutrition, not being able to use weights. I had to train body weight, which was something a little bit different for me. I used body weight at some points, but I never trained exclusively body weight, because for Muay Thai you can't be big and you got to be lean and fast, explosiveness. So I use body weight. So all of that leading up into finally going to Thailand. 2 days, and then even when I got there, like 2 days later, they're like, "Okay, you're gonna fight in 2 days." Oh, what? And then, and driving up to this to this arena, and people are smoking and betting, and you're just like in the back getting oiled up, and then realizing you're the main card. Like I fought with my wife too. My wife was on the same card, so she was a pre main,
Wow.
and then I was the main card. So now I'm sitting there, and I was like, "Look at where I'm at right now."
Incredible.
8 months of training is here, and I ended up knocking the guy out in the second round. But
Congratulations.
just the whole experience, like I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it.
Yeah.
I remember going through all. I remember so many times, and then putting it out there too. Like I put my training out online, so people knew that I was doing this. And at that point, I was a trainer. So even when I went to train in the Muay Thai gym, a lot of guys are looking at me like, "Oh, who's this guy think he is? Oh, this guy's gonna come in my gym that I train at and think he's gonna go and fight." You know what I mean? Like, so I had to fight with so many different
Mhm.
things, so many different levels I had to maneuver through. But you know what? I did stay focused, even though all these thoughts came into mind. I did stay focused. I pulled on the support. I pulled on the people who were there for me. I pulled on my faith. I kept that why right in front of my face. I put things around me that reminded me of why I was doing this, and I grinded. It's just that daily grind, kept moving forward, knowing that in the end, whether I won or lost, it was going to be something that I can take and go, okay, now I feel full. Like now I feel that I've got everything I need. I've got my certification. I've trained fighters. I've trained myself. I've trained using my system. I've done everything now to say, okay, now I feel very comfortable walking the walk, talking the talk, and helping others go through what I've gone through.
That's incredible. I'm really thank you for sharing that. Of course, I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of us didn't know that, but it's great to hear that. And on that note, I'm down in Rio de Janeiro, like I mentioned to you, and pushing out your outside your comfort zone. Walking up the street every day, and I don't speak very much Portuguese, hardly any now, a little bit at this point, but getting my butt handed to me on a weekly basis by Brazilians in Portuguese, and BJJ is just an
Right.
incredible experience, and every day after you get home, even though you got beat up, you know, you know, you know what it's all about. When you put the time in and you put the sacrifice in, that after effect, that after feeling after it's all said and done, it's just priceless. You can't even put a word on it. Um,
That's incredible, because I always say, like, guys, just like just show up, right? Show up. That's number one. Just
yeah.
show up, because if you don't show up, you're guaranteed to fail. So show up. And once you show up and just put that foot forward, or just do that little, it can be you can show up and go crazy and, do amazing things, or you can show up and just do the small little incremental things. But it's 100% you're going to get better. No doubt. You're going to get better as long as you show up, do what you need to do to get yourself better, whether it's small or big. So even if it's in the gym, going to the gym every day, showing up, but putting the effort in, however long it is, you will, showing up with your nutrition, making sure you incrementally eat, cut things out, add things in that are gonna fuel your body, and keep your metabolism going, and feed your muscles. 100% you are going to succeed.
mhm.
It may take longer for some people, it may take shorter for some people, but you are going to succeed, and you're going to feel good about it. And you're going to be outside of your comfort zone. It's going to suck. It's going to be uncomfortable, but these are the things that help you to build that shield, that warrior shield that you can take anywhere, whether it's a meeting, whether it's school, whether it's you know, in your relationships with your girlfriends or wives or whomever it is. It's all these little things that you do in your life that add up to greatness, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's been a big thing for me, personally, especially with traveling to other countries. That you're like, you went to Thailand. First
Yeah.
time, I'm sure it was kind of a shock for you. You can't speak the language. You're
Yeah.
lucky if somebody knows English. I think you pretty much answered half of my next question, and that is, if there was one quality, in terms to finding purpose, like you just mentioned with your story, there was one quality that you could literally just take out of your body and pass it on to your clients or your friends or someone that you really care about, want to succeed, what would that one thing be and why?
It would be consistency for me. It really is. I mean, even today, even with what I do on a daily basis with my business, I'm always learning, and I'm all, it's a grind. I call it the grind, the daily grind. And if you're consistent with that daily grind, you consistently put in the work. You consistently, try to make yourself better, challenge yourself, consistently try to make yourself 1% better in every day, challenge yourself with new things, learning, stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's all about consistently doing that. And when you consistently do that, you're going to hit milestones in your life that you're going to like it's like a video game, you're going to consistently do something, bing, this little, you've
Hmm.
reached this milestone. All right, awesome. You feel good. You got that milestone. You put it in your pocket because you may need to use that in the next level. And now you're moving on to level number two, where once again, you're consistently going through. Yes, you may fall. Yes, you may fail, but you get back up and you consistently keep going again. And bing, you reach that next, milestone, and you put that in your pocket because in the next level, you need to use what you got in the first milestone. You know what I mean? You need to use some of those tools. But it's all about consistency. You'll never get there unless you're consistent and you consistently put the work in, and you learn from your failures. That's the thing, because you can be consistent, but you can also be consistently doing the exact same thing and wanting a different result. That's different from being consistent, but when you fall, you're like, okay, I learned. I can't do that. Okay, next time I can't do that. Let's move. I've learned from that. I can't do that this time. Let's go forward and try it.
Hmm.
Right. So the consistency is key, but making sure that when you do fall or when you do fail or when you do go the wrong route, you back up, take heed, learn, and then consistently continue to move forward. But yeah, that's what I'm learning. Like I'm consistent. That's one thing I am, man. I grind every day. There'd be days where things aren't going the way it's supposed to. I'm like, man, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything right, and I'm still here. What's happening?
Hmm.
But I know that, okay, well, just you're here, but like in a month's time or 2 weeks time or a day's time, you're gonna jump, right? You're
Right.
gonna you're gonna get over that because you were consistent. You put in the work, So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's consistency for me.
Great. I like that. What does your morning routine look like, if any?
Morning routine. It's pretty consistent. Basically, what I do every morning, I get up, take a quick shower, and in the shower, I just kind of thank God for. I'm spiritual, so I thank God for the day before. I pull out things that happened the day before that were great. And then I come and I read my Bible. Then I come upstairs into my office. I pray again. So I go back and again, I'm always thanking God for everything that happened the day before. And just pulling things out. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Protection for these people. And then I usually ask for things and then have faith and expect them. So I'll ask for something. I'm not afraid to ask. This is what I want. I'm very precise with what I ask for. So I'm not trying to preach. I'm just telling you my
Hmm.
what I do. And then I'll pray, and then I'll go to my gratitude journal, and as you can see, every day
Hmm.
I give again. I pull out people that I give thanks to, specifically people who are close to me, people who I've met. Tomorrow I'll give thanks for being on this show. Um, and pull out three good things that happen to me every day, so that I stay focused, I stay positive, and then I take 10 minutes, not sometimes even less, and just do some mindfulness stuff, some meditation. All of that takes about 35 to 45 minutes, and then I'm ready to go. And I'm up usually at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's the routine every day. That's kind of like that. Every day I don't do
Hmm.
anything until that's done, because I realize that I can't get anything done um, that's going to be substantial unless I have that in place.
Hmm.
You know, so that's my morning ritual, and that's in stone.
Great.
Set in stone.
I like that, and I've experimented with a lot of different routines, just trying to find your magic zone, magic time. But I've got a lot of similarities in my morning routine as well.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yes.
It's the surprise question for you.
Sure.
If you were on an island, stuck on an island, just ended up there, uh,
Mhm.
teleported there with a client or without a client, and you could only pick one piece of equipment or modality for exercise to pretty much achieve what we just went over, what would that be and why?
1 gajillion% it would be my kettlebell, man.
Okay.
Not even a question. With my kettlebell, it would be a kettlebell. I'd have one kettlebell because I could do everything with that. I could do metabolic training, I could do strength training, I can stay dynamic, there's so much you can do. And that the kettlebell was key to my transformation. It really was, because before that I was just, again, I was doing bodybuilding stuff, but then someone introduced me to the kettlebell and I started to learn more and I got my certification. But it wasn't until I started to use it, like I was literally like, wow, my body is totally changing. Like I'm able to like pick things up over my head without even, like, it was crazy. And it continues to be a huge part of my life and a huge part of training. And when I train my fighters, and I make sure that at least they learn how to do the swing, if not a couple other things. But yeah, it would definitely 100% be a kettlebell for sure.
Great. I like that. It's the first time I've had kettlebell, but I'm
Oh
surprised that
yeah.
it is the first time because of
Yeah,
it's just so versatile and it forces your body to balance and adapt constantly. So,
for sure, for sure.
Funk, is there any other pieces of wisdom that you'd like to share other than what you've done already? It's been amazing.
No, I mean, you know what? I just like I said to before, man. Like, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what state where you are right now, you can always do better. You can always achieve more. You can always strive to achieve more, and don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to look at what your dreams are. Sit back and think about what is it that I really want to do. What are my dreams? What am I passionate about? And then go for it. Like, no matter how uncomfortable it's going to be to start the process. Start the process. I'm not telling you to quit your job or stop doing what you're doing. Well, completely stop doing what you're doing, but start the ball in motion to what you're
Mhm.
passionate about, and you're going to see quickly that you're going to start to learn more. You're going to start to gravitate more to what you're passionate about, and that's going to become fruitful in your life compared to what you're doing right now if you're not happy with it. But really focus on what you're passionate about, because you're going to find that's going to be what your purpose in life is. It's really your purpose in life is what you're passionate about, because um, I believe that. And it shows. It becomes transparent to everyone. You can see that when you're passionate about something, you don't mind being uncomfortable. You don't mind learning. You don't mind spending 50 hours, or not 50, sorry, 20 hours a day on it. You don't mind anything. You don't mind if you do it for free. you
Mhm.
know you just do it because you love it. And then as you love it more and learn more and become more connected with your passion, then you're going to find that you're going to be able to help others. You're going to be able to be an expert perhaps in what you're passionate about. You're going to be able to make it a business, make it something that you can that will be sustainable for yourself and your family and everyone else. But find that passion, really sit and find that passion, that thing that haunts at you every day, that every time you see something, you see it, or it's calling you right here. It's that little thing right here going, come on buddy, come on, come on. Let's start. That's take that and go, all right, let's do this. Like, give it
Great.
give it a megaphone so it can really start to
Mhm.
shine, right? So yeah, that's it, man. Passion.
Funk, thanks a lot for this. It's been a great time. Finally, been able to connect on the interview with you,
For
and
sure.
it's been awesome. Funk Roberts, funkmma.com,
Yeah.
and we will see you guys around. Thanks a lot, Funk.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Jason here again. If you got something valuable out of this podcast that you're going to take home today, go ahead and I'm going to invite you to go ahead and hit subscribe to this YouTube channel. Or what you can do is go to BodyofPurpose.com if you're on the site right now. At the top left-hand corner, you'll see an option to join the VIP list. And all that's going to do is notify you whenever I get a new podcast out or a new article for you. So go ahead and sign up or hit subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast.